Hey, what's happening? No, seriously, what's happening? It's been ages. It's been ages and ages. How are you? How's life? How's work? How's that rash? It's fine. So Daniel Sturridge wants to leave Liverpool in January to save his dream of getting to a World Cup under Gareth Southgate and presumably getting knocked out in the group stages. Listen, it's a dream we've all had. It's a dream of every young boy, girl who ever kicked a football growing up and wanted to play and get beaten at the highest level. First thoughts? Yeah, kind of fair play. Look, he's 28 years old and he's quite clearly not first choice and never will be first choice at Liverpool under Jurgen Klopp. But here's the thing about Daniel Sturridge, of course, and why there will probably be a whole host of people who are either, well, ranging from not arsed that he wants to go to really quite happy if he goes. And I get that mentality because, look, Suarez left Liverpool. He was the main man and he left a void at the football club. And that void was due and set to be filled by Daniel Sturridge. Look, he was in great form when he was with Luis Suarez. He was good enough to be Liverpool's main man when Suarez was there. It just so happened that Suarez was a level above almost every other footballer on the planet. But when it came to his opportunity to step up and be the main man, he never took it. Now, here's the thing. Injuries, yeah. Injuries held him back. Of course they did. And I'm not having for a single second that those are his fault. I'm not having that Daniel Sturridge doesn't want to be the main man. I'm not having that he is somehow hampering himself, like he's not really injured and he's not playing through the pain. Daniel Sturridge definitely wants to be the main man. This is the same Daniel Sturridge who's from Birmingham, who joined Man City to leave Man City in quite a, let's be honest, quite a scummy way, to join Chelsea because he wanted to have higher ambitions. And when it didn't work out there, he was happy to go on loan to Bolton to get his career back on track, to get himself in the public eye, get himself a few goals, get himself some games. And then inevitably, when it wasn't going to work out for him at Chelsea at all, he chose to move to Liverpool and he flourished in those early years at Liverpool. So here's a man who has the ambition. So I won't have for a single second that his injuries are in some way deliberate or he's holding himself back. Now, he's not been done any favours in this regard, of course, by Jurgen Klopp. And in that regard, I think Jurgen Klopp has got a little bit of answering to do if the public perception of Daniel Sturridge and his work rate isn't great. The whole, he needs to understand the difference between pain and real pain thing. We know what he was doing there, but I think that damaged Daniel Sturridge's reputation. And when you've got that coupled with, I think, the perception of what we see as Daniel Sturridge as a player on the pitch. And look, the style is, it's a bit of a cliche, but we say languid, or people might say lazy, or, you know, look, ultimately, Daniel Sturridge is not and never was going to be the player to go tear around after people, closing down, getting in people's faces. He's a pure striker. That's not a criticism. It is just what he is. And unfortunately, because of the Luis Suarez thing, he redefined what us as fans expected our forwards to look like. Much in the same way that Rafa Benitez redefined what we expected Liverpool managers to be like, which is why Roy Hodgson was so underwhelming. That and his, you know, incessant need to rub his face, use archaic backwards football tactics and just generally be a bit of a tit. But anyway, when you hear Klopp say that, it feeds into a story and a narrative that we're already kind of setting up for ourselves because of the way we see him stroll around the pitch and hands on hips and blah, blah, blah. So it's easy for us to believe that, oh, well, hang on a second, this fits perfectly with this story. Daniel Sturridge must be lazy, he must be the reason why he's not being a top professional, which I just say, again, it's total bollocks. For me, what Daniel Sturridge has can't be taught. And for me, that's why I'd be a little bit concerned if Liverpool were willing to let him go in January without a guaranteed plan in place. Now, listen, people will be saying in the comments, I've seen it mentioned on Twitter, we've got Dominic Solanke and we've got Danny Ings. And listen, Dom Solanke, I think, has got a tremendous future in the game. He has all the attributes to not just be a great centre forward, but a complete centre forward, the archetypal noughties Premier League centre forward. Big, he's strong, he's powerful, he's very good in the air, but he's also good with his back to goal. He's also very good at coming deep and influencing the play. We saw that for England in the World Cup during the summer. It didn't play as the lead-the-line centre-forward. He played in a withdrawn role. He still managed to get goals, picks up golden ball in the tournament. Great. He's got so much potential in his all-round game. But again, there's the word, potential. And Danny Ings finally coming back to fitness, having come back from 2 horrendous knee injuries. Of the players on Liverpool's books, there aren't many who look as Klopp-like or Klopp-suited, I think, as Danny Ings. He's an absolute terrier. He loves to terrier around the place, snarling and carrying and pressing and being, just being just a nuisance, getting in people's faces. All the things in some regards that Daniel Sturridge isn't. He does absolutely naturally. It is his natural game. And let's be honest, Daniel Sturridge isn't getting very much game time. I think he's got 12 appearances in total, predominantly from the substitute bench. Solanke's got a handful and none for Danny Ings so far. So I think there's a point to be made that maybe Liverpool don't actually need 4 centre-forwards on the books. And that's not even counting Ryan Brewster coming up from the unders, even a Ben Woodburn as well. The problem I have with this, and this is mad because, I've spent every summer for the last 3 years saying, this is the summer where Daniel Sturridge needs to go. I think we've got all we're ever going to get out of him. There's no point relying on him. 2 things. I think in terms of injuries, he's probably the fittest that he's been in years and years. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean he's back to his physical peak. I'm not sure he's ever going to be able to get back to that. I just don't think his body will allow him. But he's there. He's available. He's on the bench every week for Liverpool. He's not missing swaths of the season from daft injuries being picked up in training. And additionally, it also looks like it's starting to work for Sturridge a little bit. We're using him. We've changed his role. We're using him as that second choice centre forward and bringing him into games when we need someone to influence it. And I'm not sure there's many players that you're going to get in world football who can do that. I'm just not sure there's many players out there who can do that, who don't absolutely demand to be the first choice, who aren't 50, 60, 70, 80 million pound centre forwards who you completely have to change your team to suit, a la Morata or Lukaku or whomever. But this is the thing, if Daniel Sturridge isn't really getting game time and at the bottom end, Ings is getting no game time, and Solanke's getting very little in between, it stands to reason that the whole thing can shift up one up the pecking order if you took Daniel Sturridge out of there. Look, my overriding issue with this is what Daniel Sturridge is compared to what the other guys aren't. And Daniel Sturridge is proven. Daniel Sturridge is a proven goal scorer. And yes, look, 3 goals and 2 assists in 12 appearances is not a magnificent return so far. But what we've started to see is a little bit of that sharpness return. If there's one chance, one shot, one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted, and you wanted to capture it and, not let it slip, who are you betting on to do that? Who are you betting on to score the goal that wins that game for Liverpool? That's right, it's Mo Salah. but maybe past that, it's still Daniel Sturridge. He is the most lethal finisher in our squad. I look at Solanke and I look at Ings, and I see potential there. I still see more question marks than definitive answers. It would take a leap of faith to put faith in those guys to be backups, because although I think they've both got it, I think they both suit what Liverpool do far better than Daniel Sturridge. Even a fully fit, prime of his career, Daniel Sturridge would. Where's the goals? Where is the hard evidence that this will work? That's a major concern for me. And here's the thing. Look, I like Daniel Sturridge. I like him as a man. I like him as a footballer. I was disappointed, as every Liverpool fan is, that he hasn't been able to reach his absolute peak of potential that we thought he was going to when we saw that player in 13, 14, just an absolute goal machine. And it gets forgotten sometimes because Suarez stole all the plaudits. Daniel Sturridge, when Suarez wasn't available, provided the platform for the success of that season in that first run of games without Suarez. He scored the goals that kept us running and made us competitive in that campaign. So from a human side, look, I'd be looking to Daniel Sturridge and I'd be turning around saying, listen, mate, you know what? You don't suit what we do. We think you're a great guy. We don't want to hamper your career. You've given us some great years of service, even though they haven't gone to plan. Of course, you've been here. You've tried your best for Liverpool. It is time for you to move on. If you want that move, you want to go and get regular first team football week in, week out for the second half of the season and go to the World Cup with England. My God, mate, you know what? Go and do it, and go and do it with our blessing. That's not what I do, unfortunately, because as much as I like Daniel Sturridge as a man and a player, I like Liverpool more. and I like winning more, and I like Liverpool having a nice, deep, competitive squad, and Daniel Sturridge completely adds to that. Our bench is worse for not having Daniel Sturridge on it. There's a gamble on the quality of the players underneath. It'd be a gamble to bring someone else in and hope that they're able to reach a level we're looking for, when again, they're not going to be first choice. They're not going to usurp Roberto Firmino in Klopp's plans midway through a season. It's not going to happen. And again, equally, it's a gamble to let a guy who just knows where the back of the net is leave your football club, because there will come a time when we will need him. We have great squad depth. We have great potential coming up as well. For me, give him the rest of the season. Look, Daniel Sturridge is going to go to the World Cup either way. Let's be honest. There's no way Gareth Southgate isn't taking Daniel Sturridge. Is he going to take him as a first team starter? No, and I don't think even if he played for the rest of the season, that's going to happen. Harry Kane is the main man for England, and he should be. And England should be building around Harry Kane. Liverpool should be building towards success, and Liverpool should be insulating themselves against the potential of failure that is always brought on by being short in key areas of the pitch because of injuries and suspensions. The thing that always undoes us at key parts of the season. So listen, for what it's worth, I love Daniel Sturridge. I want to see him have a good career because I think he deserves it. But also, you know what? I don't care enough for it to in any way, shape or form harm Liverpool's chances this season. So for me, January window, keep him. There you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Would you keep Daniel Sturridge? Would you let him go? And if you would, do you think the lads we've got underneath are ready to step up? Or is it a case of we have to go out and buy someone else to replace Daniel Sturridge? And who would that be? And how much is that likely to cost? As ever, click there, my face in cartoon form, to subscribe to Maych TV. Much appreciated. Of course, watch another video there that you'll enjoy. You'll enjoy it. It's good. Just got 20 seconds. Yeah, I'll leave it there. Nice one. Thanks for watching. Ta-ra.